Okay, so I'm back in business. Today I'm gonna try something called a red pill community, where oftentimes it's like men or guys that be that be giving other guys like unsolicited advice. No, I'm joking, but they will give them like the hard truth, or they will give women the so-called reality of whatever, and it will be very harsh. Sometimes these people are spot on, like I'm not gonna lie. Like it can't come in a nice little pink package with a bow all the time. Sometimes you have to deliver it like that. I wanted to talk about this because I have like one acquaintance here in this neighborhood where I live. I met him when I was at the library, like this was last winter. Well, this winter that was. He started to talk to me. I spoke back because I'm social like that. And what happened? We haven't met like a lot. We have been talking on the phone and texting a lot, but that's about it. So he's a little bit older than me. Like I would say that he's in his mid 40s, and he has been married and separated with his ex-wife, and so he told me stories about his ex-wife cheating on him, doing all kinds of crazy stuff with other people, basically humiliating him and putting him out. And he was in a bad situation when I met him. He didn't have a job, he didn't have money like that, and he was basically just trying to get back to life. So I remember talking to him, and this guy, I'm gonna tell you, like the more we talk or spoke, because we don't talk anymore like that, the more I started to realize that, you know what, I think that you might have been a big part of the problem. The way you explained like how messy your ex-wife was and everything, like I felt for him. I was like, oh, especially like, like some women, they get away with just being nasty and mean and doing all kinds of stuff because they are women, and society will be fast to believe them and all of this stuff. I agree when it comes to that. So I felt bad for him. I was like, oh my goodness gracious. But the more you talk to this guy and you hear how he's thinking and how he's talking and how he's talking about other people, and just you might not be in the whole problem, but you definitely have a big part in your so-called demise or downfall when it comes to that part. Anyhow, I'm gonna put the message up here. He, let's see here. Where is it? Which one should we start with? Okay, so this is the first message. I'm just gonna put it up here. He's basically talking about that he forgot that I was living in my head. Because when I talk to him, most of the time that we have been talking, I'm trying to figure out what's going on around me. And it is fresh, I will put another picture with a crazy guy that's trying to connect the dots. So he gets like the unprocessed, like from the brain directly out from the mouth, there's no in between have been processing anything, So of course it sounds crazy to him maybe, but he was basically like, basically attacking my mental health, and I really hate when people do that. It is so narcissistic. It's very like gaslighting, when somebody tell you something and you just turn that around, start talking about your mental health, like I don't like that. So what more did he say here? Yeah, this was basically like we had an altercation on the phone. We were speaking on the phone, and I was basically saying that I don't trust telling him some of the stuff that goes on in my life because of how I heard him talk about other people that are very close to him, that he should respect more and stuff like that. And he just ran with it, so he hung up and he was like, don't talk to me ever again. I don't want to talk to you. Yada yada yada. And I was like, okay. And right after, he sent me this text message. So the next message that I'm gonna show here is basically me answering. I'm like, bruh, we are two that need to focus on our mental health then, because you are still talking Or because why are you still talking? Didn't you hang up the phone screaming you didn't want to talk to me anymore? Then why do you text several hours later? Seek help. Seek help, my friend. Bless him. They go low, we go lower, you know? Because he was like, he attacked my mental health, and I'm like, bruh, we are too then, you know? Because if you can be fast to talk about somebody's mental health like that, and you don't even have that kind of degree to be talking about it, then we are too. They need to meet somebody and talk to. I'm just saying, you know? You for being delusional, thinking that you can talk about this stuff with no credentials, and me for just being extra and too much. How many days later? 14th of June, 18th of, 4 days later. And remember, we're not talking. He was the one that hang up, talked about that I needed mental health, all of this, and keep texting. And now he's talking about, hi loser, I miss you. You the real stubborn goat. I didn't reply to that. I didn't reply to that because I was like, nah, you know what? It's not cute. This whole like you will lash out on somebody and then you don't apologize or explain yourself and you just come in and trying to be like, I was just joking, you know? No, I don't like that. So he is in his mid 40s, late 40s even, you know? So I'm like, no, we don't have time for that. Yeah. So this was like early in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. He sent me this screenshot of somebody talking about, you know, that basically, I'm gonna try to summon this up. I'm gonna put the picture up, but I'm gonna try to summon this up. It's basically talking about, you know, that women meet men and, you know, like men get the so-called, how do you say, the leftovers. Men get the leftovers when it comes to women. That when women are in the prime time, they will go after like a bad boy, somebody that is not nice to them and just treat them with respect. But as soon as these women want to settle down, then all of a sudden they go to the so-called nice person, this nice guy. So I think like by him sending this, he basically thinks that he is one of these so-called nice people, you know? But I don't get it why he randomly, like, we haven't been talking for like a month or something, and he just sent me this. And I wanted to dissect this message because I was literally like, okay, you know what? He is not totally wrong. Like this person that wrote the whole text here. And I will say that it goes both ways. It goes both ways. Like it's not just predominantly women or predominantly men that will do this stuff. Like people would, you know, when you're younger, like you don't have like the consequential thinking, you know, so you would just meet whoever feels good for your whatever at the moment. You know, you won't think like, oh, I need to meet somebody that's stable. I need to meet somebody that, you know, can show, you know, having emotional intelligence and all of this stuff. You don't think about it. You're just like, okay, this person looks good. They make me laugh or whatever that makes you want to connect with them. But of course, later on, you know, you grow up and you start to understand that this stuff is not sustainable. Like you need something more solid. Good men are never optional until a woman is tired of being played. I think that is so, it is not correct. It is not correct. You know, like you want a good guy. Who doesn't? Like you want somebody to, you know, text you in the middle of the day and call you and show you love and affection and, you know, basically show that they care and that they're trying. Like who wouldn't want that, you know? But the problem is I feel like this message was written by somebody that has been burned by somebody. You know, like this somebody feels that they are the good guy and somebody that they wanted didn't want them until they had been done playing around, basically. That's what I feel. I feel like this is somebody that is a little bit scorned or whatever you call it. Hey, these red pill people, they love talking about women's age. They are so obsessed with age. Like, it is scary, you know? They're like, oh, when she starts to get older and, this and that, all of a sudden this and that. And it's like, but how about you guys? You know, some of you red pill guys, like as soon as you start to get older, you get into this so-called midlife crisis where you start running after like fucking teenagers and young adults and this and that. And it's like, what can these people do for you most of the time? Like, what do you guys have in common? Like, what do you talk about when you hang out? This whole age obsession is like, just pass me with that, you know? She wants a stepfather for her child. She wants a husband. Oh, Jesus Christ. Early in life, they choose the wrong guy, The same guy they thought that was boring. But in my case, what I would say is that, like, I like good guys. I even said, like, I said it so many times that my type is usually nerds, you know? And when I say nerds, like, I mean like somebody that have like a special interest in something, and most of the times they're a little bit like socially awkward, maybe in some sense, not all of them, of course, but it's something with that that makes me like, I don't know, they feel so pure somehow. Do you understand? When I was in my early 20s, I moved up to Stockholm, and this was during the summer. I was just gonna work here. They have like a Tivoli, you know, like an amusement park. So I was gonna work there, and I remember meeting a guy that was like tall, skinny, and he was into like this spiritualist, like meditation, yoga, you know, eating like Dr. Sebi food, and you know, like he was way before his time. Like this stuff I feel like is popular now, but he was way before. Like he did this before it was even fashion. And he was so different from anybody that I ever met before, you know? And it was something with him that I thought was so intriguing, you know? Like when I met him, he was teaching me new stuff. And that shit is attractive as fuck. Like I didn't know what starseed was. I didn't know what, you know, like any of this stuff was, you know? So he basically like spoke about stuff like that and told me about stuff like that. And I remember a friend that I made from this job place, like this workplace, what did she say? She was like, why are you going out with him? Like, look at him, you know? And I was, like I said, when I was young, I was very impressionable. Like I cared a lot about what people thought and all of this stuff. And I remember feeling a little bit ashamed, and he started to notice it. He even told me at one point, he was like, it feels like you're avoiding me, you know? Like when we come to work, like you're avoiding me, like you don't talk to me as much when we are at the job as when we go out, you know? And I was like, oh, how am I gonna explain this, you know? And I felt so bad because I was just listening to people around me basically, you know? But I liked him, and he was one of the most legit people that I ever went out with, if I'm gonna be honest. Like he was emotionally intelligent. Like when something happened and he apologized, and it was like a good apology. Like I think I still have like one of the messages he sent me on Facebook. Yeah, like he did something and I was so upset, so I deleted him and all of this stuff. And he sent me like these long ass messages talking about, I don't want to give you like a bad, because he's talking about that we have a human experience here, you know? And he was talking about, I don't want to give you like a sour taste, like a bad human experience, that you look at people and love the wrong way. Like, and we were like, oh my God, in our 20s, do you understand? Like early 20s. And I'm like, you have men today, like this buffoon over here, you know? But like I said, I'm not gonna be like age obsessed like that, you know? I'm not gonna be like you guys. Means that some of the people that I have met, like they would look at the outer shell, like not how I look like now. If you guys saw pictures of how I used to be back in the days, how I was dressing, fixing my hair and everything, I was a baddie or whatever you call it. Like I was one of those girls, you know, like outer wise. But inside, I feel like I've always been a little bit like, not a semi-introvert, but I don't know how to explain it. Like I've always been a little bit like odd somehow, you know? So like the inside doesn't really match the outside, kind of. That's how I felt. And I felt like some of these guys that approached me, they approached me because, I don't know, because of the shell, basically. You know, they was like, okay, so this is popular now, this is in right now, this is what most of my friends like and what I can flaunt with. I want to have something like that too. But as soon as they got to know me and my personality and they saw the goofy side and the just weird side, it was like, I don't want anything to have to do with her, you know? Then they just ran away, you know? So it was almost like they got disappointed, you know? And some of these guys, just because like they have been hurt from the past of other girls, they may have been in the so-called same category, looking like this and aesthetically, whatever. It was like they took out their old pain on me, you know? So I had like a guy, like, I think that his ex was catastrophical to him from some of the stuff that I saw and heard. I think that he went through so-called narcissistic abuse a little bit when it came to this one. And so when I met him, he was like not at his so-called best, you know? Like she got to experience the best version of him, you know? But with the travels and stability and everything, and I got basically like what he's talking about here, that I got the rest, you know, the leftovers, the broken pieces. The way that he was talking to me sometimes when it came to stuff, I could, you know, because I'm a person that try to understand people, you know, and I was like, nah, he's basically treating me and talking to me and doing all of this stuff, you know, the cheating, the everything, because this is what he went through, you know, with his ex, and he couldn't retaliate on her, so he's basically taking that out on me, you know. Was it Drake that said in one of his songs, he said, dealing with a heart that I didn't break, yeah? Or most of the people that I have met, I have never dated anybody that has been rich like that, you know, like wealthy or came from a good family like that or spoiled me, you know, never, you know. Like most of the guys that I have met, we have either been on the same level, or most of the time they had like been not lower than me, but you know what I mean, like they didn't have their own place to live, they didn't work, like unemployed, didn't go to school, no future plans. Like I met people like that. And what I noticed is that they ended up with somebody else, of course, and all of a sudden, like, they became better, you know? And I saw this happen, not once, not twice, like, I would say many times I saw this happen. And I was thinking, what's wrong with me, you know? Because when I meet these people, they have no goals, no ambition, no anything. They don't want to do shit, you know? And then a few months, a few years later, I see them date somebody else, and all of a sudden they have decided to start working, open their own business, get married, become stepfathers for children that is not theirs. And, you know, and I'm just like, wow. And I couldn't even get this person to like split the bill when we went to like a restaurant or something. And I saw this happen a lot. It's not the only one, thank God, that went through it. I had one of my best friends. She is so funny. They have a film called Good Luck Chuck. Good Luck Chuck is about a guy that basically gets like a hex over him from when he was young by somebody. And this hex has been following him all throughout life. So now he's this successful older gentleman, and he just get a lot of women. But all of these women, all they want to do is just have sex with him and then leave. And he noticed that all of them, as soon as he meet them and have sex with them, they find the love of their life. They get married. Like, he gets invited to so many weddings, you know? And he started to notice, like, damn, what is going on? And rumors was going, like, women were like, you know what, this guy, you know, when you meet him, after him, you will meet the love of your life. So all of them just want to meet him because of that. And he knows that he's being taken advantage of, but he's not complaining in the beginning until he meets Jessica Alba, like a girl that he really want to settle down with, that he really likes, you know? And he tried to go to the bottom of this, like, what's happening? Like, is this really a curse? And how do I break it? And all of this stuff. And I remember he did like a test. He took somebody that is so-called viewed as not beautiful, like in society, you know, and basically had sex with her. And he was like, if she gets married or meet the love of her life, then I know for so sure that the curse is still active. And she did. She found someone. It is comedy, but it's, you know, so my friend basically told me like, oh, you need to watch this movie. Like, this is explaining you, like, our situation, our life, basically. And I'm like, oh my God, it does. Oh God. I have so many examples. And it's like, when it happens once, okay, you can meet them at the wrong time, wrong everything, you know, but when it happens like so many times, I was like, this is a curse, bro. Like, I'm destined to be like the one that converts these people, you know. So I was like, when am I gonna meet somebody that has been converted, you know? Like, let me meet a guy that learned his lesson, that the last chick that he was with taught him, you know, like emotional intelligence, and, you know, taught him how to be more open and sharing and caring and all of this stuff, so I don't have to do the groundwork. Like, when is somebody gonna send some of their so-called building Bob, like their project? When are they gonna send somebody like that to me, you know? Like, I don't always want to be the one that fix people like that, you know? Like, can I get somebody that's fixed too, you know? Because I have worked so much on myself, you know. So is it too much to ask? I don't know. Because I'm losing my thread, you know, like my brain is like the subway system. It's like, you know. Let me just take an example. When it comes to, like, and this is me being so-called pink pill, when it comes to women, we have the advantage of, who said this? Somebody said that women have sex and date people that they want, or like they can get, and men have sex and date people that, you know, that they can get. Like, this is, you know, like, I really want that, but this is what I can get, so I'm gonna just settle, basically. Like I said, with the balance, everything shifted. Now all of a sudden the men have their advantages when it's time to settle down, because most of the time it's the men that so-called choose the mate, you know, like they are the ones going down on one knees most of the times and propose and all of this stuff. And when it comes to that, then they have the advantage of picking and choosing, who do I want as a wife? You as a woman, you can choose, like, who do I want to have sex with? And it's like a buffet, basically. So all of these, you know, talking back and forth, red pill, blue pill, women this, men this, da 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 da. In the end of the day, all I want to say is that everybody has their advantages and disadvantages. Like, that, it's just the law of the nature, you know? I just want to know why this guy sent me this message. Like, the day after my birthday too, you know? So I'm like, bro, this is how do you say, like a covert narcissist, or something like that, you know? That's the vibe that I'm getting. Because I'm like, how you gonna be saying that you don't want to talk to somebody, be all dramatic, hang up, and then keep texting them, you know? And the thing is, like, I wrote who is this, but I still have his name there because I know how these people work. Like I said, lunatics, it's not the first time I meet them, but I just wanted to know that he was irrelevant, basically. Why do I meet people like this? You know, I'm thinking, like, do I have something within me that is attracting this, you know? Because life doesn't always happen to you, so I'm just trying to figure out, like, what am I doing, you know? Like, and it doesn't matter. It can be like you meet them in the library, you meet them in whatever religious place, you meet them at a club. It doesn't matter. Like, these so-called God-forsaken rotten eggs here, they somehow lure themselves into my life, you know? And I'm just like, oh, I need to see the patterns early on. But some of these people, they are so good at masking or whatever. It's crazy. I said very early on, I don't like to lead people on, because I don't like to be led on. So I'm very honest, very open. So I think I told him like right away in the beginning, like I'm new to this neighborhood, I don't have a lot of friends, and I don't discriminate, like age, whatever. Like I can be friends with anybody. You just need to be cool and open, that's it, I don't require much like that. But I was like, I'm not looking for love like that, because I'm one of these people, I feel like, I don't know, like you can't be like this either, because if you're gonna wait until your life is so-called perfect and everything is on place, like it might take forever, like you might, so sometimes you just gotta jump in, even if some stuff are still unfinished, unmanaged, whatever. But I felt like I wanted to fix my life a little bit more before I started to date somebody. He recently got his divorce and he had 2 kids, one back in the home, the motherland. So I was like, bruh, I'm not, you guys that step up being stepfathers and stepmothers, like, salute, congrats, and kudos to you guys, but it's not for everybody. I'm gonna be honest, and it's not to be like mean to anybody or anything like that, but it's not for everybody. Like maturity wise, there's a lot of stuff that need to connect, before you can step up to something as important as that. I told him early on that I was not interested like that, so I think that he might have felt a little bit like, he must have felt some type of way. I basically saw early on, I was like, him and I is not gonna be anything here, because I don't want this stepmom, whatever. And it's because of how I grew up. I have my half brother, and I noticed that, when it comes to certain stuff, like it doesn't feel like we are siblings and we share the same mother, like we came from the same womb and everything, but it still feels like sometimes I have more in common with a stranger than, like if I would jump a bridge and it would be like a random homeless guy on my right and him at my left, I would be like, you know what, let me just take my chance with this one, okay? Like, I don't trust him at all. At all. I don't trust him. And I have been very determined to be like, you know what, when I later on, like you can't decide some of this stuff, but if I can, I want all of my children to have the same mom and the same dad, and it's not gonna be guaranteed that they're gonna be tight as siblings just because they have the same everything, sometimes that's even worse, but I'm just saying that it would be just easier when it comes to certain stuff, I sound like Mickey Mouse, man. And the thing is, like, I don't even sound like this in real life. I don't think so, at least. Like I said, what I hear when I'm speaking, I hear her name Cher, I hear Tracy Chapman, I hear something in between there. I don't hear like this squeaky, it's so, when I see these videos, like it doesn't feel like the mouth is going in sync with what I'm saying. It's like the mouth is supposed to speak another language almost, like it's moving. I would say the mouth is moving very French. Like the French, they speak like this. Comment ça va? Ça va bien? Et toi? Ok? Tout à l'heure, tout c'est bon. À l'heure, putain. Escargot. No, but they have like, it's something like when the French people speak, like the mouth is very, it's almost like they're tasting something. Like a little bird. And Americans are very, yay, we're Americans, and the mouth goes, it's very dramatic like that. It's very French. I don't know how to explain it. It's just me being weird now and just, Yep. It doesn't match sometimes. But, the voice, gosh. Ooh, the whole like sitting and just touching myself all the time and just I seen some videos, it's a little bit better now. I fast forward, it looks like and you hobby psychologists, I know what you guys are thinking. Don't be too fast to them now. What was it Abbas and Preach was talking about? That most of these red pill guys, like they don't live what they're preaching. You know, Beta. Like they are very phony like that. And if you really look at these guys and you dissect them, Beta, Beta male. Her name is Shania something, like a content creator, and she basically dates different famous guys and asks them out. I think it's called grilling or something like that. And you would see like when these red pill guys come on, I'm not kidding with you, like she is so much in her feminine energy, this Shania, you know. So her feminine like energy, like she don't have to be in a normal masculine energy. Like she intimidates some of these men. Like you can see when they come in, like they don't know how to sit, they don't know how to talk. It's almost like she's interviewing a child sometimes, you know. The way that they're answering is very petty, very not, they haven't thought it through basically, you know. And you see some of the guys and you like, yeah, this right here, this is somebody that don't get bitches. Like you just see that. You like, nah, this is somebody that just be talking out of their ass. And it's so sad that you have like young guys sitting at home looking up to these people, thinking that they are some kind of gurus, like they have it all figured out. And do you understand? And it's like, nah, bro, these are the same people. If a so-called, you know, baddie, you know, these people, these women that they talk down on, if she would just pass them by, like they would, like, you know, like the cartoon, yabba yabba doo, when they drop, yeah, they wouldn't know how to act. I said, I'm not very black and white when it comes to anything. I want to see it from all angles. And I'm saying some of these people have been saying some stuff that I do agree with. You know, it sounds bad, you know, the way that they are delivering the message, but it's like, you know, some of the people that they have been interviewing are so delusional. So the only way it's gonna get in, you know, is by them being like, bitch, you are a 5. And here you're sitting asking for a top tier 10. Humble yourself, simmer down, or whatever. Okay, no, but what do you guys think? I have like 5 people following this program, and I'll be talking like it's like 5,000 or 5 million, you know? Like, what do you guys think? And it's like crickets in the background. No. But anyhow, so that's the thing with YouTube. You do these videos now. I would delete some of the videos that I have been putting up. I think so, because it's very all over the place right now. I want to have like a red thread, you know? So as soon as I figure out more what I actually want to do with this, then I would just have like a spring cleaning or whatever. But I noticed like some of these pages that I find, like I will go to like the first video. Like I think stuff like that is interesting. So I would just like, I will see something and it will intrigue me, and I would just, you know, let me see how they started, you know, and see the so-called development, how they have been, you know, managing and stuff like that. And it is fun to see the video quality change, the way that they're talking, the editing. Like you see that these people, they have upped their game sometimes, you know. And some people just kept the same, but somehow it helped them eventually, you know. So whoever has a YouTube channel or any channel following or whatever, and you don't see results right now, don't give up, because, you know, sometimes like this stuff that goes viral is like old shit. Like somebody will create something, like let's say fucking 2015 or something, and they will forget about that and do something else, and all of a sudden that shit will go viral and it will be a big thing, and all of a sudden, you know. So I'm just saying, don't be too quick to be like, oh, I'm not getting the results that I want, you know. Just have some ice in your belly, you know, just chill down a little bit, and, you know, everything will be Gucci. I don't have much to say about this. I was just like, you know, in the future, God, please keep Satan's brethren and his sons and even some daughters, like keep them far away from me, huh? Keep them far away.